The characters in the Disney library have entertained children of all ages for generations. However, like many aging stars, they may need some occasional work done to maintain their youthful images. As tastes change and animation technology improves, your favorite characters may undergo a facelift here or a tummy tuck there. Changing times also calls for changing attitudes, which prompts even more changes to these classic characters. After all, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and the gang are getting near the century mark. Hey folks, welcome to The Binger. In this video, we're going to look at how some of your favorite Disney characters have changed their looks in the years since they debuted. Over the last 90 years, Mickey Mouse has become a global icon. His expressive eyes, white gloves, and red shorts have given the character an image that resonates with fans from Taiwan to Topeka. Of course, the mouse that runs the house didn't start that way. In Steamboat Willie, the first Mickey Mouse cartoon to hit screens, the Mixter handled the steamboat steering wheel bare-handed. Mickey's white gloves didn't appear until the 1929 cartoon, The Opry House. In his early appearances, Mickey's eyes were more like black ovals and less like the classic look we recognize today. As Mickey's fame rose, his attitude also changed. The early Mickey shorts showed him as a mischievous scamp, playing other animals like musical instruments. He was also a relentless flirt, attempting to win the love of his gal pal Minnie. As the years went on and Disney grew more successful, Uncle Walt and the animators gave Mickey a more mature look and attitude. While the artists gave him his trademark red shorts and oversized shoes, the writers made him less of a troublemaker and more of a leader. Fun fact, Minnie's full name is Minerva Mouse. No matter what you call her, Minnie has always been more than just Mickey's love interest. She's also been on the cutting edge of fashion for over 9 decades. In her first appearance in Steamboat Willie, she was a 1920s-style flapper, complete with bowler hat and high heels. Over the decades, her fashion choices evolved. Starting in 1941, she would replace her bowler hat with a huge bow. As animation techniques improved, her skirts went from solid colors to include her trademark polka dots. In 1986, Disney declared the Year of Minnie Mouse and updated her look to keep up with the times. Minnie even got her own TV special in 1988 titled Totally Minnie, in which she modeled some totally rad 80s fashions. As attitudes about women's roles changed, so did Minnie's portrayals. At first, she was just the object of Mickey's affection. In later years, she was a damsel in distress. In modern times, she's become both an independent female and an equal part to Mickey in leading the Disney family of characters. It's a well-known fact that many celebrities take extreme steps to look younger, but how many of them age in reverse? When Goofy made his first appearance as Dippy Dog in the 1932 short Mickey's Revue, he had glasses and a white beard. 3 years later in the short On Ice, Goofy would not only look much younger, but he would also adopt what became his traditional costume. His tall hat, green sweater, brown vest, white gloves, blue pants, and flat brown shoes would be his trademark look for decades. In the 1940s and 50s, Goofy would star in a series of how-to shorts. These cartoons would show Goofy attempting everything from learning to dance to playing golf and tennis, most of the time with little success. Even during the last decades of the 20th century, Goofy would maintain much of his 1950s nostalgia in both his wardrobe and his attitudes. In the Goof Troop series and a Goofy movie, he showed a more sensitive side as a single father to his son Max, while still being, well, a goof. When it comes to Disney cartoons, there's only one the Donald. Donald Fauntleroy Duck, yes, his middle name is Fauntleroy, made his debut in the 1934 short The Wise Little Hen. He would appear in his trademark sailor hat, blue sailor shirt, and bow tie for the first time. In his follow-up appearance, animators changed his look to give him a wider range of expressions. His neck shortened, his bill slimmed down, and his eyes became wider. As animation moved from black and white to color, Donald's eyes went from white to blue. Some details would change as the character moved from animation to comics. For instance, the buttons on his shirt would stay on in the comics, but would disappear in the animated appearances. Although Donald is one of Disney's longest-running characters, he certainly hasn't mellowed with age. The mercurial mallard is still known to lose his temper at the slightest provocation. On June 9, 2019, the foul-tempered Fowl celebrated his 85th birthday. With the launch of the Disney Plus streaming service, this dashing duck will be celebrating many more birthdays in the years to come. One of Donald's biggest sources of pride, as well as frustration, comes in the form of his three nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The sons of Donald's cousin, Della Duck, the boys enjoy causing mischief around the cantankerous Canard. The boys made their first appearance not on the silver screen, but in the Sunday newspaper comic strips. On October 17, 1937, the comic strip version of Donald Duck met the devious Ducklings for the first time. While Donald tried to maintain discipline around the youngsters, the boys would play merciless pranks on their unsuspecting uncle, causing Donald to fly into one of his trademark tantrums. The Young Ducks would reach the peak of their fame in the 1980s animated show DuckTales. With Donald enlisted in the U.S. Navy, the boys were sent to live with another uncle, the fabulously wealthy Scrooge McDuck. Disney would bring back the triplets in a new version of DuckTales in 2017. One major question that many fans ask about these troublesome triplets: how do you tell them apart? Simple. Huey typically wears red, Dewey prefers blue, and Louie likes green. The honey-loving bear first appeared in print in the Alan Alexander Milne short story The Wrong Sort of Bees. The story was published in the Christmas Eve 1925 edition of the London Evening News. The following October, the first full volume of short stories titled Winnie the Pooh appeared on bookstore shelves. In his initial appearances, the bear with the honey-colored fur didn't wear any clothes. You could say he was a bear. Pooh wouldn't don his trademark red shirt until 1933, when he appeared on a Parker Brothers board game. Disney bought the rights to the character in 1961 and released the first Winnie the Pooh short 5 years later. In 1968, Winnie the Pooh and the 100-Acre Wood Crew earned an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Short for Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. While his wardrobe hasn't changed much in nearly a century, the character is still one of Disney's most popular to this day. The 2018 film Christopher Robin, starring Ewan McGregor, brought the bear to life with CGI, along with live actors, while maintaining his iconic look. Many fans of the Toy Story series may not know that Sheriff Woody has a last name. It's Pride. It's a fitting name, considering how the character almost turned out. In early drafts of the first Toy Story script, Sheriff Woody wasn't an old-fashioned pull-string doll. Instead, he was a ventriloquist dummy. While both versions had him as the leader of Andy's toys, the earlier version had him as more of an authoritarian tyrant. The original story had the toys plotting to overthrow the despot and install the shiny Buzz Lightyear as their new leader. The look of the character also changed. The original had a longer nose and a hinged jaw, giving him a menacing appearance. When Tom Hanks signed on to voice Woody, animators gave the character a more friendly appearance, with big eyes and a wide smile. As computer animation technology has evolved over the last 2 decades, Woody has also undergone some subtle changes. The textures on his clothing have become more defined, while his movements and facial expressions have been smoothed out. Pixar fans know Billy Crystal as the voice of Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc. But did you know he was almost the voice of Buzz Lightyear? Crystal turned down the role, leaving it available for Home Improvement star Tim Allen. In his first appearance in the original Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear was the hottest toy on the market, a Space Ranger of Star Command. After a quarter century, even a Space Ranger can show signs of wear and tear. In Toy Story 4, animators were able to include scratches and dents on Buzz's spacesuit. Also, the adhesive on his nameplate shows signs of peeling off. While Buzz's collector's value may have dropped off, as he's no longer in mint condition, his value as a character still reaches to infinity and beyond. Bo Peep has been a fixture in the Toy Story film since the opening scene. In that scene, she played the victim of a robbery by Mr. Potato Head. When she called for someone to save her, Sheriff Woody came to the rescue. Throughout her appearances in the series, she also served as Woody's emotional support. In a 2019 interview with MTV News, producer Jonas Rivera described Bo Peep as a quietly strong character. Every time Woody gets kind of turned upside down a little bit in the story, she's the one to say, "No, look at your boot and remember who you are," Rivera said. In Toy Story 4, Bo Peep went from a delicate porcelain doll to a butt-kicking hero in her own right. Her new look reflects her new role. Her frilly pantaloons are now more functional trousers. Her lacy bonnet is now a headband. Even her skirt has multiple uses, ranging from a parachute to a cape. In this film, she turns the tables and rescues Woody from a cat in an antique shop. The 1994 animated film The Lion King is an undeniable Disney classic. Director Jon Favreau knew a good thing when he saw it, so he made sure that the 2019 CGI live-action remake stayed close to the original. In many scenes, Favreau replicated the original film shot for shot. The most noticeable changes came from the looks of the animals, especially Simba. In the animated film, Simba had big eyes and an expressive face. In the CGI remake, producers sacrificed expressiveness for realism. The animated film also had a wider color palette, with each animal popping off the screen with their own distinct looks. The CGI version made the colors more neutral and less vibrant. Zazu's beak is less colorful, the hyenas look less silly, Rafiki's tail is shorter. Rafiki also undergoes several changes from the original to the remake. His Bakura staff is gone. Instead, he has to use red roots to mark Simba's forehead. Also, Rafiki's drawing of Simba comes with the assistance of insects in the remake, rather than the hand-drawn picture from the original. So, what do you think? Did we forget your favorite Disney makeover? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like this video, share it with your Disney fan friends, and subscribe to The Binger to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.